Welcome to the Property Premier League, the weekly podcast where property meets Premier League football. I'm your host, Chris Mervyn, and joining me today is Jamie Aspland and special guest Tony Ruby. Hello, guys. Each week, we're diving the world of football and property from the unique perspective of professionals who live and breathe both. As diehard fans of Spurs, Palace and Everton, and Lincoln, we know a thing or two of the highs and lows that come with both the beautiful game and the property market. And whether it's the thrill of a last-minute goal or the challenges of a market shift, we've got the stories, insights, and banter to keep you entertained. So if you're passionate about property, Premier League football, or both, you're in the right place. Get ready for your weekly dose of all things property and football with the Property Premier League. Let's kick off. So, as I said then, we've got today's guest, which is Tony Ruby. Hello, Tony. How are you, buddy?
I'm all right, Chris. Thank you so much for having me. I've got to say that I watched your show last week, and that intro is top level, that is, isn't it? Who's put that together for you?
Oh, just someone we know. If you've got a vision and a dream, it helps when they put it back across.
Looks brilliant.
Yeah,
never mind the Buzzcocks meets all sorts, isn't it? That's what.
Yeah. What's the news? Read all about it.
Yeah.
That one. Yeah, that's the vibe we wanted to go for because, as you know, being a good friend of Jamie's, Jamie is the man of sound bites. You know, never fall in love with a lone player is one of his classics. He must be crying every day. You, Jay, now at the moment? Now he's injured.
Super Jack's gone and he's broke his foot. We still have to pay him.
You say all that, Jamie, but we've all done it, haven't we? We've all fallen into that slippery slide of falling in love with a lone player.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, exactly. You were saying before we started, Tony, as well, just about any teams non-league or just Championship, Second Division, First. The dependence on loan players is really key to getting some teams up. But you can't do it all the time either, can you? I guess, really.
No. You know
what
it's like. I mean, loan players, they're kind of varying grades, aren't they? You know, only a few years ago, we were lucky enough to have Brennan Johnson on one side. Obviously, at the time was at Forest and was loaned to us, and then Morgan Rogers, who was on loan for us from Man City. And you kind of look at that, and there was games where they would drift in, drift out, and you might not even realise they're playing for 60 minutes, but there'll be 10 or 15 minutes of just absolute incredible magic. And all of a sudden we'll be 3-0 up and the game's done. But we got to the playoff final that year. We got beat by Blackpool at Wembley in front of about 6,000, 7,000 because only each club was allowed to take 3,500 for each end due to COVID. It was the last event before they did the test event for the FA Cup final the week after, where they allowed 20,000 in each end.
Great.
But yeah, obviously, I mean, Wembley's huge, and 6,000 or 7,000 in there is not particularly great. But we were very heavily dependent. If we'd gone up, obviously we couldn't afford to buy them. You look at the money, especially that Brennan's gone for recently, and what he's doing at the minute. And he's at Palace at the minute, isn't he? So the £35 million transfer recently.
Yeah, so ironic. I mean, to be fair, we could probably do with him. Obviously, as soon as we went, literally a couple of games later, Kudos was injured. And it's like, right. But in saying that, we'll have a chat about how the teams did last weekend, etc. But we were okay in the second half, and I think a lot of it is just down to fight and spirit and want to win and desire. Yeah. So
a good few comebacks, wasn't there, in the Premier League this weekend? I thought. You sort of look at the likes of Man City 2-0 up and seemingly cruising. Yes, amongst
those who can. Yes, for those who can't, you're not watching on YouTube and just listening to it on Spotify and iTunes. Jay is there waving his arms like a lunatic because obviously Everton are doing well for you, at the moment, aren't they, Jay? So you're doing quite well.
Yeah, I have a story to tell you about that, which involves Mr. Ruby. So yes,
excellent. Very briefly, Tony. You're EXP. You're one of the. You say when you're one of the founding members? I guess really.
No. So EXP launched in the UK in November 2019. I went live June 2021. So about 18 months. Wow. To be fair, from November 19 onwards, I knew where I needed to be, but I had a few personal ducks to get in a row, which Jamie helped get a few of those ducks stood up in the end as well. So I wouldn't be here without Jamie. I've been sort of 4.5 years. 4.5 years that has been incredible, quite frankly. It gives you different challenges, different things to think about, because never worked for myself before. So, but they're not bad challenges to have.
No, exactly. I've got some stats here. So it's something like 300, probably more now since this was written. 369 homes been sold, generated 1.5 million in commission. Crikey. Have you bought into it, Lincoln, then, in that case? Are you,
No.
are you the reason they've been doing well recently?
Just for an update, it's now 386. So
Fantastic.
plus a couple of others. So yeah, it's been honestly, it's changed absolutely everything. When I first set out, I wrote down a few numbers on the back of a fag packet and sort of wrote down
Like
what
you
I
do,
needed to do really to really replace the earned income, I suppose. And it's just a little bit like a bit of a project which has got a bit out of hand at times, but I wouldn't change it for the world. It's just meant that you've got different challenges to think about. And going back to previous, before working for myself, we were never in a financially stable place where you could sort of genuinely plan holidays or genuinely plan a retirement or genuinely plan, and all these things have become a little bit more pertinent because it was my 50th birthday last week. But you start thinking about, you get older. Yeah, thank you. You get to a point, don't you, in life, you start thinking about, well, I need to really, what's the future look like? And the reality is, where I was employed, what were the options? I was kind of at a glass ceiling. There was nowhere really to go. It was a head office owned flagship branch. It was never going to be franchised. So what do? You've got to kind of find your own way out of there, haven't you?
100%. I think you probably hit a resonated chord there with lots of people who are either in your position and doing what they're doing. Even Jay there as well. Obviously, you started on his own, and also people who are in a situation where you're looking around and thinking, gone are the days where you could actually make some real life-changing money by being a branch manager or even a director. Those days are well gone. But also, it's that balance of actually knowing what you want out of it and doing it your way as well, because often you don't own the company, and it's just, it's now or never, and push the button. If you've got a good support network around you, in particular, and I always say that about your group of people around you, a small circle, and you've got a bigger circle from that as well, then you're in a good position, aren't you, really? So, well,
I heard something which resonated with me just before Christmas, and it sort of says, if you hang around with 5 idiots, guess what? You become the 6th idiot. And I think you've got to surround yourself by the right people. I think
definitely
that really matters on a social level. I think on a professional level as well. We could open up this can of worms, but I think a lot of it goes back to, and some agents are going to hate me for this, I just don't think we charge enough. I don't think we charge enough to keep the best talent and reward them in the right way financially. Whether that be a negotiator role or whether that be, the fact is that, a negotiator these days earns something similar to a minimum wage. Well, only a short few 10 years ago, it was about 30% difference between minimum wage and what a negotiator would be earning. So it's quite an attractive industry to get into, or at least have a go at as well. I think the other aspect of it is because we don't get enough in on fees, we don't invest enough into the people in training. So you end up then losing these people. And there's a lot of people who sit in ivory towers who were probably excellent agents back in the 90s and are now in directors or partnership roles. And all those kind of those 90s thoughts still flood their way down, but actually the world's moved on quite a bit.
It's
different ways of tackling stuff. Yeah, completely out of touch. Yeah.
Definitely. Well, we'll have a chat about what made you sort of push the button and
sure,
your good things and your bad things you've learned from it. It's not always, obviously, you've got to work very hard to get to where you are. And Jay can say that as well. You have a plan, and sometimes you exceed it. Sometimes you have days where you think, actually, what the hell am I doing? And that obviously you've got to balance that with all these different things, about flexibility and having your own time back a little bit as well. Although actually in the outset, you don't have any time at all. You've got to be full on into it as well, haven't you, guess? But we'll have a chat about that in a minute. Let's have a look at the football results from last weekend. And we can talk about okay. And we can have a chat about Lincoln as well a little bit later. Your little baby as well. So we had a couple of results. Let's move on from that one against Everton. Crikey. Jay, did you go to that one or not?
No, I didn't. I did have a ticket, but I couldn't get to that one, unfortunately.
Okay, so Brighton won, Everton won. Decent result, mate, and it's keeping it ticking over, really, isn't it? Yeah,
and you predicted 1-1.
Did I? Have you got the actual predictions in front of you today?
I just remember mine, but no, you predicted 1-1. Steve predicted a 1-0 loss. So at one stage he was winning, then in the 97th minute you was right. So yeah.
Well, it doesn't matter who's winning throughout. It's the end result which matters, isn't it? So I just thought they would put up a good account, and I couldn't see either team running away with it. So just where they are currently. So a good one. And mate, we'll look at the league table in a minute, but It's looking pretty good for you, to be honest. Pushing
Really
towards
right
that.
ballpark.
Yeah, pushing towards that special day for you, the magic points number.
Just before we move on, I'm going to very quickly tell you my story, and then
go on then.
that'll be it. So,
Do you do quickly?
Yeah, exactly.
Go on.
Hey, that's just a rumor. It's so.
It's not a rumor, mate. It's not a rumor.
So my good friend Tony there was 50 on Saturday. I've been speaking to him most days for a long while, but and he had a surprise 50th, so he didn't know anything about it. And let me tell you, when I saw his face, he generally didn't know anything about it. But I've been messaging, so I was finishing work, going home, getting picked up by another friend of ours, and going over to Tony's surprise 50th. And at the same time as Beto scored the 96th minute equaliser, my missus had just finished telling me that the babysitter had dropped out. And at that stage, I was celebrating, yelping, walloping, screaming, got my son, throwing him in the air. And I looked back at my missus and thought, I've timed that really badly wrong. And I nearly had to go and sleep in Tony's garage.
Wow.
But that was my story about that. So there's a time to remember priorities, and Beto scoring on his birthday is probably not high in my missus's thought process when we just lost the babysitter. So there we go. That's my little story for you. So
when you say lost the babies, sorry, you lost the babysitter. You didn't actually lose the babysitter, did you? It was just not
a late dropout. Yes.
Yeah. So knowing Layla. That's a brave approach as well, Jamie.
Exactly.
Black and blue.
Missing a party. I nearly had to stay at your house.
Something tells me, after seeing you two together, speaking together as well, it won't be the first time you consider staying at Tony's house. But anyway, let's move on before you get in more trouble. Leeds 0, Arsenal 4. I thought that'd be a bit tighter with Leeds at home as well.
I got that wrong, didn't I? I got that totally wrong. I thought Leeds at home would put up a fight. If you look at their home form against their away form, I thought, God, they'll hold Arsenal as long as they can. But it just shows the quality, though, doesn't it? If Saka gets injured in the warm-up and they bring Madueke on as a replacement, you think, wow, they've got the strength now they've never had before.
Yeah, definitely. And you've got multiple. Gokka has scored. Jesus scored again. He's been doing pretty well. So I don't like saying it, but I've said it quite often on this podcast. I thought it was Arsenal's to lose this year, and it still is Arsenal's to lose. And it's all in their hands, really. 6 points ahead, which we'll look at it in a minute. And they've got to play City as well. I can't see either of those teams running away. And even if it's a draw, I still think they've got enough in their tank to be able to push ahead. Again, injuries at this time of season as well, especially when you get into the second stage of the Champions League as well, and they're still involved in the cups as well, aren't they? So
apparently, no one wanted to leave yesterday because they truly believe in that camp they're going to win it this year.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I believe it as well. I've said it before, and I think they will win. It's galling as a Spurs fan, but at the same point, hats off. You've got to be in it to win it, and if they do it, great. If they don't, I will be one of the people who say they're bottlers, but that's all we can do when we've got a shit team.
Although just coming back to it, I mean, Arsenal are one of the few teams who could lose a one-horse race, aren't they? They're more Spursy than Spurs at times, aren't they?
They are. Yeah. In fact, they use it a lot, but they should. What's the thing? Kettle black. Well, I can't remember the phrase. But that's it. Yeah, that phrase. But that is sometimes true of them. But I think they're in a great position to do that. Yeah. Wolves 0, Bournemouth 2. Good result for Bournemouth.
So when we said they needed to get back out of that bottom sort of section, wasn't it?
We did.
That was their chance to get out of it. I mean, Wolves scored first, got disallowed, but I think time just, as much as Wolves have been improving recently, I think time's just running out for them, isn't it? As in the games, the draws and the games that keep ticking by are taking you closer to 30. And when you get to 30 games and you're not in the mix, you're in trouble.
Yeah, definitely. They had a small gap, and now they've got a slightly bigger gap. Bournemouth have done well to sort of get that win, really. But shame about Wolves; they've just dropped off. I think they're playing next season now, aren't they? In their heads. We've said it for a while. They had a little bit of resurgence, and they showed some fight and spirit. But I think they'll just be a Southampton now and just ticking their boxes until they go back down. Unfortunately. Chelsea 3, West Ham 2. What a match that was! What a match that was! I was absolutely thrilled by the end of it. Obviously, West Ham, off the back of a few good results, including beating us, although we didn't play very well, and Chelsea coming back and winning that 3-2. Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good.
And that's a massive 9 points for you now, isn't it? As in, like, you're 9 points above that drop zone, Chris. If they'd won that, and then obviously you'd not, it would have just changed that slightly, the makeup of that, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It's I can't believe I'm still talking about Spurs, Palace, drop zones. Crazy. Because West Ham have been absolutely shocking. But we have as well, so I've just got to accept it. But I didn't even ever think that we'd be down there. But we could still get caught up. We've only got 2 more matches out of our 3 block now. We did well, as we'll move on in a minute about our result. But it's just a very. If you're not up for it, there are teams who can punish you. So
when your football fate is signed, it's games like that you'll look back at the end of the season and go, "How have we gone from being 2-0 up in that game and losing the game 3-2?" And those 3 points, okay, at the minute wouldn't take them out of the bottom 3, but there'll be other results throughout the season which probably reflect similar to that. And if you're just not good enough and you're not switched on for 100 minutes, this is what can happen, isn't it?
Yeah.
Definitely. And Todobo got a red card as well, didn't he? So that he'll be out at some point as well, serving suspension. So that'd be interesting for West Ham.
Was it violent conduct? Got him around the throat.
Guess who it involved, Chris?
Let me have a think. Has he got curly hair?
Yeah.
Shithousery at the highest level. No one likes him, except if he plays for your team. One of those players.
Yeah.
Cucurella, obviously.
That's him.
Other defenders who are annoying are available. And then we had Liverpool getting a result against Newcastle. And I watched some of this on Saturday night as well when I was away. And that was Liverpool looked good. Did you guys watch the match at all or watch any of the highlights?
No, we was out. I watched the highlights, but we was
at a
surprise party. But yeah.
I think Ekatike looked the business. Verts, things started coming off, and they have done for the last couple of matches now. He's sort of looking like the player they wanted to sign. And Gordon did all right for Newcastle, but they just couldn't really get out of the blocks. Liverpool was just too slick. The one-touch passing was on point, and when you've got a team like that playing at home with the crowd behind you, it's just difficult for Newcastle to get.
You don't wish an injury on, do you? But they've sorted it now with Isaac being injured. They get to play Ekatike, don't they? We said at the start, Isaac caused them a problem. They had to try and get him in that team. Well, Ekatike was scoring before Isaac came, so it's with him being injured, it's sort of sorted its own problem out, isn't it? Yeah,
no one could understand why that went through. Ekatike was more than the player to fit into Liverpool, and sometimes like we said at the time, you buy players from other teams just to weaken that team. But I didn't think Liverpool needed to do that with Newcastle. I couldn't see them pushing on, and Isaac was always going to go if it's Liverpool or somewhere else. So good player, but doesn't. It's hard to see where he goes from here, isn't it? To be honest, Ekatike, Isaac. So no, not great. Let's move on to the next slide. Here we go. So Sunday we had quite a few good matches. That Villa result, Brentford won, Villa 0, and Villa at home. That's a great result for Brentford, and they're proving the doubt was wrong. They really are.
And I was one of them, as you know, Chris. At the start, I said they'd be cannon fodder in the Premier League this year with losing the manager to you and players and stuff like that, and they've absolutely not.
No, they've done really, really well. They really have. Man U against Fulham, 3-2. Never a good result for Man U. That was an entertaining game. Sesko scoring straight after Macedo scored as well to make it 2-2. So they've just got a better spirit about them, they really. It's the power of a manager who believes in them, and they believe in the manager and just what they're doing, I think. And sometimes that gets you across the line, doesn't it? And self-belief and having belief in players' abilities as well. He's definitely done that with Sesko, because I didn't rate him at all when he was playing before, and but now he's looking like a much better player, believes in himself, and takes the opportunities eventually. So decent.
Is that Carrick 3 out of 3 now?
Yeah. Obviously, it's not going to continue. You can't win every match going on, but it's a decent result for Man U. And Fulham, again, good team. Surprised Harry Wilson didn't go anywhere. I think we spoke yesterday, Jay, didn't we? He was linked with Everton.
20 million we offered for him, but I'd imagine he wants to stay. I'd imagine down there.
Excuse me.
The only thing coming back where we are, if you come to Liverpool, obviously he was an ex-Liverpool player, and he's obviously closer to Wales where he's from. But apart from that, I should imagine the draw of London's greater than Liverpool at the moment still.
Yeah, I imagine so. But I still thought he would have been a good purchase for Everton. Just in the midfield space, and he's having a good season as well. And he has been, although he's stand out this season for goals. Last season he was pretty good as well. To be honest, he did get some absolutely. Doesn't score a simple goal, that lad. Doesn't score a simple goal. Everything's a worldie. Forest drew 1-1 with Palace. Good result for. Well, is it a good result for both teams? I don't know, really.
Palace needed that. We spoke about stopping that rot, didn't we, with what's going on, and we'll talk about what happened there last night. But Forest couldn't afford to lose with where they are. West Ham, that happening, give Forest that little push there now, 6 points above West Ham out of drop zone. And obviously Palace, it's just stopped that rot of what we said, of losing games.
Definitely. And it'd be interesting to see what happens regarding Mateta being integrated back into that squad as well.
Bet he plays.
Well, if you've got a player like that, and he is decent player, he'll want to get his move in the summer, so he wants to play as well, surely. So, it's be interesting to see what happens there. But the dynamics of football club, no matter where you are, Premier League or anywhere else, if you throw your toys at that pram, it can go one of two ways, and sometimes it doesn't always work out rosy, does it? Then we had Spurs against City. So obviously, I was actually driving back from Swindon actually on when Nips was on, so I listened to it in the car, and it was much of the same. I watched the highlights afterwards and got back. Much of the same. First half was pretty dire. We just weren't at the races. Lack of belief. There's things behind the scenes which I think just are coming onto the pitch, and it just doesn't feel right. Maybe it's one person, two people. I'm not sure. The harmony isn't there. Second half, totally different team. Made a tactical switch. Went from 3 at the back to more of a 4 at the back, as Colin Gallagher said in his interview afterwards as well, and really just a bit more structured, and just looked like they wanted to fight for something, and obviously got the result. It's a draw in the end of the day, where we should have, Man City are not the Man City of old, are they? They're really fragile at the back, and their midfield, Rodri in particular, I know it's a really bad injury he had, but he hasn't got that injection of pace anymore to get to breakdowns quickly, or it's a difficult time for them in the central midfield as well, I think. So he's not the player he was. And yeah, it was a good result at the end of the day, 2-2. Solanke, come on.
What a finish.
What? Yeah, I love it just because he looked at where the ball went and it looked like he knew exactly what he was doing. I'm not sure he did, but it's instinctive strikers, isn't it, for you sometimes?
Mate, if I scored that, I'm telling you all that I meant it, every single bit of it.
I'm telling you, I don't believe it, mate.
If you could get your leg up there, Jamie, I'll be surprised.
Not a chance.
It'd be like you slipping on a bit there. Like you slipping on a bit of ice, Jay.
Exactly.
That's the only reason you get that high. Crikey. No, a good finish. Good to see him on there. His first goal was, I don't know if you saw the replays, was actually a foul. He went through Gay's leg to get the ball, I think. So it could have easily been given as a foul. So I do sympathise a little bit with Man City. No, I don't. Carry on. No, but that's football, isn't it? So you move on, and good result. And then on Monday night, we had Sunderland beating Burnley 3-0. Hard now to see Burnley. Well, we thought they were down anyway. It's the first time they've looked like they weren't going to be competitive in the second half of the match as well. They've always lost by the odd goal. That was a comprehensive win by Sunderland and their strike forces. It was Broby, is it up front? Broby. Yeah, he looks decent, and we've said about him before as well. The link-up play was good, and Sunderland
just holds the ball up so well, so strong.
Strong, he is really strong. They pushed on, and good result for Sunderland, and the more little wins like that they get, the better they're gonna be end of the day, aren't they? So I think they'll be fine. League-wise, quickly, let's have a look at the league. So obviously,
who's at the top half? Who's that team in the top half? Oh, that's Everton.
I know.
Don't worry.
You pushed it. Did you go? Yeah. Did you go up one place from last week? You 11?
Yeah, we went back down one, I think, because of Sunderland winning.
Yeah. Villa getting a bit inconsistent over the last couple of matches. It'd be interesting to see how they adapt in the next couple of matches to keep themselves up there. But then it's the usual suspects, isn't it, really, at the top? The interesting point is the bottom of the league, I guess, really. But can we see those 6 points being made up for Man City against Arsenal? It's going to be difficult, isn't it?
Like you just said earlier, the Arsenal Man City game is crucial for if Arsenal don't lose it, it plays in their hands. Man City have got to win it.
Yeah,
you look at Man City's last 6 there, 1 win in 6, 4 draws, and they're only drawn 5 all season. So their form has turned dramatically, isn't it, in that last 6?
Yeah, definitely. But in the given their dues, they are still up there, and Liverpool, their record as well, in the last sort of 6 there as well, 4 wins, a loss, and a 4 draws, a loss, and a win. Is not particularly sort of Champions League sort of form.
But the worst thing,
they are up there.
The rest of them, they're in the mix still, aren't they? Because of 2 points is normally like so you'd have teams running away with it, but they're not.
Jay, 6 points away from 5th. God, can Everton do it?
Yeah.
Let's move on. It wasn't really a question, mate. I was just taking the piss. Okay.
Taking the piss? You see where Spurs are?
Mate, it's all I've got. Right? Just leave me alone. Okay, yeah, look at that form. Talking about form, look at those form tables. Oh, lovely. Palace and Spurs.
Geez.
Yeah. Which is so ironic. Obviously, Steve's not on here today, but the amount of times we've had they are so similar this year. Yeah.
Tottenham, Palace, and Burnley have got the same form in the last 6.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You'd say Wolves have got better.
Well, yeah, you're true there, mate. It's true. And well, even West Ham, at least they've won 2 and then lost. I mean, really topsy-turvy. I mean, Newcastle, yeah, they've had 2/3-ish results, which haven't gone so well. Bournemouth are picking up points, which is good. Brighton obviously got the point against you guys last weekend against Everton. And at Spurs, we just need to get something out of the next 2 games, a point, 3 points.
You got tough 2 games, haven't you, coming up?
Have we got Arsenal? Yeah, soon.
Is it someone else? Or is it Man U?
Yeah, Man U this weekend.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting. Are Man U beatable? Of course they are, because that little bounce has to stop at some point. But I'm just worried about how many players are out for Spurs. There's a lot of players out now, and whilst I understand not going to the transfer window because you couldn't see any better than you currently got, the ones we currently got are sitting in the sick room. So hopefully it doesn't come back to bite us.
Do you think that bottom 3 changes much between now and the end of the season? Wolves are gone, aren't they?
Wolves and Burnley are gone pretty much, I'd imagine.
I think I think when we said we did a little prediction thing, didn't we, at the start of the season, Jay, and we said, I think those are the 3 teams you said, and Forest were possible. So we did say these teams anyway. But West Ham probably not helping themselves a little bit. Little mini revival. But
if they'd got something out of that Chelsea game, it's
you're
now waiting on that next momentum, aren't you? What happens in their next game is important now.
Yeah.
If they lose the next one again, then you're sort of going, you've like Christian said, your mini revival's gone a little bit into it. If you get a bounce straight back from the loss in the last minute, you might get something.
Yeah, if they lose again, West Ham, and then the teams above them get 3 points out of the next game or 2 games, then I think that's it's hard to see them picking up that amount of points, considering they couldn't do it. They've only managed to do those 2 wins together, and obviously when they played us as well, you've got to bank on teams not turning up to get any points, which I don't think there's enough teams who do that at the moment. And it's this time of the season where you've got to fight. So got to be interesting times, isn't it? Interesting times. Okay, good. Right, that's the football chat. So let's have a chat about some property stuff, if we could do. So, Tony, over to you, mate. Fantastic you've been on the show. I've been an admirer from afar for a long time. And obviously spoke to Jay a few times, and he's obviously said, yeah, he's all right. I've known him for a while. He's an okay agent. That's what he said. Well, words to those effect anyway. Really
it's about
interested
right.
to get your it's about right. Really interested to get your take on the pros and cons, I guess, really, and the highs and lows, and just a little bit about your journey to this date, really. And I mean, I've got a few not concerns, definitely not about good structured self-employed models, if that makes sense, for EXP and stuff like that. But the fact that it's become a real fashion for lots of agencies to look at, great, that's fine. They can see it as an income generator, but doesn't it all come down to knowledge and training, and that in turn gives value to what you offer, and that in turn gives you better fees and all those reasons there as well. So it'd be interesting to see where you think the market is currently in regards to you've been doing self-employed for a while in this model, and go from there.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, I mean, obviously I'm a little bit biased, but the EXP framework for me immediately stood out when I first saw it back in November 19. It on paper, it seemed too good to be true. Actually, the realities of being inside of it is probably better than I realised it was. Now you're inside and you're sort of on the, inside the tent rather than looking from the outside. Obviously, there's others, Keller Williams and Century 21, and obviously Sean Newman's got his Fine and Country franchise thing going, has been for years. I think there's plenty of others. There's loads of others as well trying to explore this. Big admirer of Avocado, the guys there. I think they do a nice job. I think they do a great job, great structure. Absolutely. But they invest time, they invest money, they help people. And the worry for me is when you're sort of opening the door to, with the greatest respect, anybody, because if you've not done estate agency before, and you just fancy it because you like property, you're probably looking at it the wrong way, because actually it's not really a property business, is it? It's about people. Yep. And for me, everything you do has got to be about the client journey. That's got to get better than it has done for the last goodness knows how many years. I think that's the bit that we're not held in particularly high regard, are we, by the general public? We're probably just about in line with the taxman and parking attendant. So we need to try and do something. So I think, and the only way you're going to do that really is deliver service and deliver quality and look after people in the right way. Almost for me, the mindset was about trying to become the family's agent, like you've got your doctor, like you've got your dentist, like you've got your solicitor, like you've got your accountant, trying to be that sort of that fill-in role, I suppose. So really looking at business that can be built on recommendation. But it comes back to the individual. And if you're throwing people into this industry in a self-employed role who have got next to no experience, I think that can only be set up to fail. It'll be interesting to see what the retention rate of agents is, or agent brokerages is over time. There will be a churn. It's widely regarded again at EXP. The churn rate is around 1 in 4 that are not successful in the first year or so they go back to employment. But that's not really EXP's problem, because actually it's down to the individual. EXP literally are my toolkit provider. They give me the tools to do the job. It's down to me to go out and make that happen. It's down to me to go out and find the listings. So I think it depends on the relationship you're expecting out of a self-employed brokerage. Because if you're expecting them to hand feed you, well, you're probably still needing to be in a high street office and be fed.
Yeah.
If you've got something about you that allows you to go out there and sort of break some ice and get some ground and put yourself in and amongst the community and make yourself known for what you do with a bit of experience to back that up, and a decent track record to back that up, people are going to be attracted to talking to you. Whether they'll use you or not is a different matter. Some people, we don't win everything we go to. Some people do want the comfort of a high street branch. Some people do want something they recognise on the hot. That's fine. But the EXP model, as an example, is now the UK's largest estate agency brand for sales and listings in 2025.
Yep.
Ahead of, your Connells Group, ahead of Sequence, ahead of Purple Bricks and all these other major players. So there's something in it. But again, it's often thrown about that 80% of the business is done by 20% of the people. And that's probably true as well. That's probably also true in most employed roles. I know
100%.
That would have been Jamie. That would have been me. That would have been you yourself, probably, Chris, in your last employed role. Where you deliver a lot of value for the money you're being paid every month. I think what self-employed models are about is about finding a way that you can be remunerated for what you're actually worth, and building something of that works for you. And not people talk about a lot about work-life balance. You hit the nail on the head, Chris. The first 2 years, I just had my foot on the gas constantly. I'd wake up at whatever time, morning, 7 in the morning, roll into this position or in the previous house we're in, and probably some days, if I wasn't in and out on appointments, not roll out this chair till 9:30, 10 o'clock most nights. And that was kind of life for 2 years. It was hard. It was really hard. Probably beyond. Probably should have at that point put my hands up and gone, you know what, I need some help. I need some extra sort of support around me. But we're in 2022 at this point, and we'd had a terrible budget with Liz Truss and Kwasi, and inflation was up here, and interest rates were following it, and it was like I can't really ask somebody to leave their role to come and join me for the fear of then the market turning really badly in 23 and then having to let that person go. So I just have to ride it out for a little bit longer. But it's not going away. This framework of working for yourself is very culturally accepted in America and Australia and South Africa and France and Spain and whatever else. But that's where we are. I think we're in a sort of it's an evolution, I think, of the industry.
I think you're exactly right. I think that I've obviously follow a lot of estate agents. I have lots of partner agents I speak to or try to speak to and get them on board as well. A lot of the time where the ones which are successful like yourself is that first of all it's who will we go and actually get out to value the property, and then it's a why. A lot of the agents who go out and try their own thing, which is obviously where we are in the industry now. As I said, the money's gone out. You get to almost value a role, and you're like, okay, the next step is valuer. There's nothing else here for me because there's people who are in a long position, they own the company, and the opportunities aren't there, or the money isn't there anymore in that branch, and then they go off and do something else on their own, which is fine. But they might be very good estate agents. It doesn't mean they're going to be good business owners themselves. And promoting yourself is very, very hard. You have to get out of your comfort zone as well. And even I've seen that with Jay as well. Get yourself out of your comfort zone. It doesn't matter what you feel you look like. People will appreciate that you're there, you're putting yourself out there, and you have got the actual knowledge to back up what you're saying, which is really important. But I mean, I had a call the other day on some mentor I do for agents together. The person was very successful. It just started on her own with one of these franchise models. It wasn't EXP, it's the franchise model, and was asking obviously how to put herself out there, how to get a social profile up, that kind of thing. And I was like, well, I kind of needed to do that before you left. And then it turns out that the particular person had actually started a business up in a different town than she was actually worked in. So she wasn't known for the industry in that town. I was like, crikey, you've not done things by halves there, have you?
No, that's got to be hard. It's got to be hard. I'll take my hat off to anybody who can do that. I mean, breaking ice in a town that you're not known for what you do. I mean, Jamie's pathway is perfect. He's done so much in that town for so many years. Everybody knows who he is. To me, it was like this can only succeed. The chances of Jamie's setup failing and being sat here 2.5, 3 weeks later since you opened and having 0 listings, I think we're always going to be 0. I think as soon as people knew Jamie was going on his own, and this is the problem. I think sometimes the trap we fall into as employees, we believe it's the name above the door that's bringing people towards you. It's not always. Yes, it might be in many cases, in some cases, but you don't need the same numbers you were doing. I heard last week's podcast you're talking about 17 listings and you were doing 25 net in your previous employed role. You don't need those numbers, do you? The reality is to tread water, you don't need those numbers.
To be honest, if you do them, I was saying, Tony, if you do them week in, week out, you're going to have a month in week out. You're going to have a problem, like you just said. You're going to nearly pop. You can't carry on doing that, and
especially if your focus is on quality. If your focus is on quality of service and communication, you're not going to be able to service that on your own. And I think the sweet spot's probably around 20, maybe 25, an absolute push. For a single person to sort of manage properly. Obviously, if you've got 25 and actually 10 of them are in your sold pipeline, it might change your capacity a little bit where you can increase. But there's also something to be said about being in demand. It gives you an opportunity to say to somebody, I can put you on the market, but I'm afraid until I've got a space, 2 weeks down the line, I'm expecting to have that. who doesn't want what everybody else wants? Everybody wants that, don't they?
I've seen that used as a marketing tool as well, where they're actually, you know what, I'm getting towards the end of my current tranche of property sales, and I'm going to be opened up for another 5 properties. So get yourself on the list now. And you know, I think that, you know, that demand. Well, hang on a minute, this guy or that lady is so good. They've got people wanting to use them, and I better not miss out on this. I want to find out what this is all about, and it also enables you to choose as well, doesn't it? Because obviously, one of the main problems with estate agents is that we are magpies. When you're listing, especially if you're listing for a company, the pressure is sometimes dependent on if it's a corporate or a targeted independent. Is, well, now it's not, you know, as you're self-employed, it's not about getting 100 listings. It's about getting 60 or 50 or 40 that are going to sell, and you're happy with the people you're dealing with, and it feels right, and you know that's going to sell more than likely than just get a listing, because it's not important about that. It's not about vanity anymore. It's not about the pie charts.
No, I agree. I think there's so much wrong amongst the industry, really. When you look at the completion rates at 53% nationally, I think that's just staggers me. We talk about this a lot in evaluation. You know, if I always refer to an electrician coming around to change a light bulb for you 100 times, but if you said you're going to pay him 53 times out of 100, he'd politely tell you to go away. You know, yeah, that's our industry. How much, you know, so much work being done for free. So for me, it's always been simple. If you list 100, how many can you realistically complete on? Well, you'll never complete on 100 because there'll always be circumstantial change. There'll be a change in wealth or relationship or employment status or whatever else it is. So you're going to have a natural fall away rate. But in our town, there's agents at 48%, there's agents at 65%. But interestingly, the independents are all into the 70s and 78%, and we're at 90%. And for me, that's the bit, isn't it? If you're doing the work, you want it to remunerate. You know, it's a business at the end of the day, it's not a charity. So you've got to get to that point where you're recognising that the business is good to take in the first place. So that means you've got to have a seller who's on your wavelength when it comes to valuation. You've got to have, you know, and if you go out there and you get a bit more money for it, you know, it's all right to go, okay, that's done really well, much better than I expected it to. That's fine as well. But they've got to be paying a reasonable fee for your direct time. I think if you go back to my days employed, when you speak to most people who were leaving the business for whatever reason, most of the time they put it down to communication not being good enough, didn't know what was going on, wasn't getting feedback, but it was always communication orientated. It was rarely anything other than that. So if you can fix the comms aspect and make it easy for them to get in touch with you, and you know, and keep people happy, the chances of them being attracted by another agent who's, you know, trying to chase them down, of course, as they all are, is different. Of course, when you're paying people to list properties, not to actually get the end result, again, you're creating problems. You're creating big problems for this industry, which is another reason why it's only 53% out of 100.
Definitely, it's there's a lot, as we know, there's a lot of things we could be doing a hell of a lot better in the industry as a whole. The problem is that as soon as you sort of say these things in regards to wanting to get the fee levels up, given a real value to what good estate agents bring, then there's always going to be someone else who doesn't believe that and wants to undercut it because you see it as a commercial advantage to actually offer something which, you know what, selling properties is easy. Just put it on Rightmove, and here's the fee. It's £900. Why would you want to go and do 2% with whoever? So the industry as a whole is pretty misaligned. But I guess that the key to it is actually explaining why you are worth your fee.
But you mentioned a £900 fee there. So the biggest £900 fee agent we kind of know of at the moment is your likes of Purple Bricks, aren't they?
Yeah.
You know, they are literally a toss of the coin on completion.
Exactly.
So actually, their average fee is about £2,000 if you take £1,000 as being their. So, in real terms, you've either got to pay, and then you might have to pay. You know, the chances are 1 in 2 times you're going to have to actually go to a different agency to get the job done. And I think we've just got to believe, like I said, adding value without a doubt is critical. But this comes from experience, as Jamie will know, and as you'll know, Chris. You know, how often do you hear, and this really grinds my gears, how often do you hear somebody get in touch with you as a buyer, and they say to you, "Oh, I've sold my house on the first viewing on the first day. I'm so happy." Ooh. My immediate red flags up was like, you could have got more money.
Yeah.
You can't always say that to them, but why is the agent then not doing the right thing and trying to push that extra little bit? And if they've got, and I hear it all the time as well, people are getting their first offer on the table from an agent. The agent's advising them to cancel these other viewings. Like, whoa. What if that person comes to the table and they put their hand up and say, I want to buy that house as well? You know, you're going to get an extra 5 grand, 10 grand, 15 grand, 20 grand. And this is I think half wrong is the pressure from the top is often about hitting listing KPIs, hitting sales KPIs, you know, and even in some of the corporates having telephone call KPIs and all this sort of. Let's just let people deal with people and get them moved, but do the right thing. And we live by a simple motto, and it's just do the right thing at the right time. And I think if you do that, and it's not always an easy thing to do because sometimes you've got to make difficult calls, but these are the things that it's really basics, isn't it? It's a human business. We've just got to look after people in the right way, like your family. You know, you wouldn't advise your family member takes their first offer from the first viewing on day one when you've got 3 or 4 other viewings still to take place tomorrow and the day after. You'd let them run, wouldn't you?
Definitely. Having good conversations, isn't it? Just having good conversation with people, because that builds into that. It hits the core. What you said there about people just paying an agent. I'm not going to mention them, but paying an agent. That agent's job is actually to put houses in the market, not to sell them, because they actually don't care if you sell or not. If I'm in, that's the horrible truth. They don't care, and they are paid to put the house in the market, not to sell it, not get it exchanged. And I've heard stories where they've just gone out to people and said, what do you want to put on the market for? And that tells you they're actually not being an estate agent. They're just order taking and literally put it on the market. And that is simply it. And like Tony said there, there's a percentage of them people, if your house is 350, you can put it on for 450 if you want, because they're not bothered. As long as you sign that contract, you've got an agreement with Close Brothers and they're going to get paid in 10 months' time regardless. So the actual ability of selling the house is not there. And that's where if everybody played off the same contract, off the same fee, I've always said that on here, that is actually winning something. If we were all 2% and we all had the same contract, that is actually winning a property. You don't win it by being 1% cheaper. You've won it by being cheaper, not on service.
But if certain agencies cared about selling property, they would have a buyer register, and they don't.
Yeah.
The other aspect of it is you know what happens, and I'm a firm believer that actually 25%, 30% of what we do is the pretty bit: the listing, the photographs, the social media, the launching, the viewings, the feedback, the negotiation, sale agreed. I still think there's 70% of the journey to go at that point. And again, you go back to some of these other structures, and if things start to hit the wobbles there, they're going to fall through. That's the reality. They're going to fall through because there's nobody really managing that transaction from that point forward. So this is the bit where we can add our value. You can add your years of experience, decades of experience, to work your way past these hurdles to get these transactions a bit further down the line. And also, you know, you'll have done this, I'm sure, plenty of times in your career, Jamie. Somebody brings a house to the market, you know exactly who's going to buy that place because you've got to buy a database that you care about and you communicate with and you talk to. And you know what they're out viewing currently, so you've got a good idea about when you've got something in the pipeline comes your way. So there's big differences. That's why it's what it is. That's exactly why what it is, and what it's.
And I think good communication from the off as well, Tony. To be fair, I've sold a property recently. I don't have to tell you which one it is, but I've sold a property recently. We all know that the boiler's somewhere in its end of life. It's not there yet, but it's somewhere in that facility. The buyer went round it, and I said to him, "Look, you do need to bear in mind that." When something went wrong with this boiler, there's a good chance you're not going to get parts for it. It's going to need to be replaced. There's no point trying to hide it and wait till the surveyor's gone around and wait 8 weeks or wait 12 weeks. And I've said, you're fully aware of that? Yes, I am. The vendor's aware? Yes, I am. Right. So we're all happy to move forward on that basis. Yeah. I've hit that hurdle before we've even agreed a price because I know what would happen. A surveyor would have, well, we all know, don't get me started, but they're going to sit with a red flag on a number 3 on roof, drainage, electric,
gas,
oil if you've got oil, anything they can't see. They're going to sit there with that red flag before they even leave their office, or their house. So I know that would be a red, and I'm just thought, right, let's just hit it while we're at this stage. So you managing that sale expectation is been brought forward, and it's not going to be a problem in 12 weeks.
What sort of property was this, Jamie, that you were selling?
Victorian 3-bed semi.
First time buyer couple or upsizers or?
Upsizers just sold a modern 3-bed on Hamley Chase down the bottom.
So want more space. But at some point in their future, 5, 10, 15 years down the line, they're going to want to sell again, aren't they? Again, in the UK, only one in eight buyers go back to the agent they bought from. You know, if you could fix that a little bit and get out to 2 in 8, 3 in 8, you know, you're going to be sort of quite a long way ahead of most others, aren't you?
And that's quite a scary stat, isn't it? If you had to go and get a tyre now, you'd go to a garage where you've bought a tyre from before. So it's a scary stat that 1 in 8 people go back to the agent. And if you ask people, probably the biggest thing they're ever going to buy in their life is that property, is in that biggest asset.
Yeah.
And they can't remember the agent they bought it from. I think that's scary.
It's because it's because it's transactional, and that's the problem with it. People see it as transactional. It's done rather than actually when you first go out to value a property, you'll form a relationship which is going to last for a long period, and people do become friends. As well, you know, bought and sold properties, you know, the kids, you know, they're growing up, well, they're going to college, and you know all the way through their life. And if you can actually get that instill and get that connection to start off with, is really important. But transactional is a problem, and that goes down to corporate agency in particular, because, like you said, Tony, earlier on, when you get a listing, great, I've sold it, great, I've got it listed. Or I've bought the instruction because it's ticked another box. There's so much box ticking that goes on there, where actually what it comes down to, and this is relevant for anything to do with sales, especially in property, in regards to what you guys do as an agency, what I do now as auctions, is given the right advice to start off with. You know what the right advice sometimes is for me isn't to actually, this auction isn't suited you. Your best advice is to go and use a estate agent who will get you more money and suit your timescales. So
don't get me started on corporate agents doing the auction because they get paid £250. I'd love to shop vouchers if it completes. Wow. But yeah, I mean, you didn't know that. I mean, for me, there's a lot of information we have at our disposal when you've sold properties, completed on properties. Obviously, you've got buyers for that property and else. The one thing Stephen Brown bangs on this about a lot, you know, we don't keep in touch enough with our previous clients, our previous sellers, our previous buyers. You know, we all know what day they completed. Send them a damn card to wish them happy anniversary. You know, are they interested in what the market's done since? Send them a report which just sort of says what the market's done since. That, I think, would stick. That would also massively increase that return rate of 1 to 8 to more, because if an agent did that for me, I'd be looking at it going, okay, fair. If the car that's on my driveway, the dealership sent me a card every year, they won't, and said, because obviously it's depreciating asset, and said, oh, it's a year since you bought your car, I hope you really enjoy it. Oh, by the way, it's now worth X. I'm looking at it going, okay, nice one, thanks. But it would make sure that if I came to that point of needing another car, I'd probably go to that dealership and sort of ask them what's the next best option I can go for. It's a simple thing, isn't it? Everybody loves, you know, it's just my birthday. I've opened God knows how many cards, more cards than I've probably ever had in my life. Everyone loves getting a card, don't they? That's handwritten, or a nice message just saying, you know, you said something to me on the other day, Joe, didn't you, about your birthday message, you know, and all that sort of, you know, just, it's human, isn't it? We're human people. I think you just want to feel like you're cared for and given a shit about. Can I swear? I don't know to swear there. Sorry.
You can, mate. Touch points are really important, but I think it's just they just don't see that the process and systems aren't in place from the outset. And I was just reading a bit about yourself, Tony, as well, just about when you said previously to other podcasts, etc., as well, just about building success is getting the systems put in place early. I guess really you've got this sorted out. What would I want to? How can I not maximize the money, but maximize the relationship? I guess really, and get the best for you and the client. It's getting things in place and going from there really. But if you think about it, for car dealerships in particular, I mean, and estate agents, of course, but you're selling a brand new car, you're going to be serviced there, etc. Why wouldn't you want something in contact with that particular person about when they're going to sell the car or get rid of it or part exchange it? Because you're going to get another grand on top of that, and that's transactional, isn't it? So you think about how you grow your business there as well. That relationship's really important. So
yeah, great.
No. So what would you say to someone like Jay then as well, who is taking the plunge, loads of experience, gone off on their own, and to be fair, Jay's doing it all, and he's doing all the right things. To be fair, but it won't always be smooth. There'll be some tough times as well. and a few moments of doubt. Even the most positive person gets doubt, because that's just being the human nature, and things outside of the industry and your work will have a knock-on effect to you as well, with family and health and all these other things which come in when you get older, Tony. And I was 50 in December myself, so it's a time where you generally feel there's a lot of stuff going on around you, and mental health and all these other things, and people struggling, that and you think, crikey, that person's similar age, and how do you? Is it about getting those good connections, I guess, really around you as well, and good support network? That's important. You can't do it alone, can you?
No. So I mean, the people around me have been phenomenal. There's no two ways about that. And my sort of exploration towards where we're at now didn't start 4.5, 5 years ago. It started probably 2016, 17 sort of time. The place I was working at previously was then bought out by, it was a family business, and I enjoyed working for the family, felt like a part of the family. And then it was bought out by, a large Beaver PLC, and it changed, and kind of things changed a little bit. And it was like, okay, what do I do now to get, like I said, I was at this place where there was nowhere else to go within the branch really. And you touched on the point earlier, Chris, which I didn't really pick up on at the time, but you get a decent valuer in the bench, and the first thing they want to do when the manager's job becomes available is chuck them into manager's role. Well, hold on a minute, you want to carry on doing, you want to do 2 jobs for the price of 1, basically. And that happened to me once at that place, and that kind of didn't really help, because I found myself literally at the end of my tether, and really starting to resent work, actually. And that's not me. I've not been doing this quite as long as Jamie. It's about 20 years, but resenting work is not a great place to be ever, is it? So I made sure I got the right people around me who sort of knew what my vision and dream was all about, and that goes down to Chris Watkin in Grantham, who is a good friend of mine. The likes of my photographer, my energy assessor, all knew what I wanted to do. Obviously, the wife, that was a really important conversation to have early doors, because she needed to understand what that looked like. I don't know what if she'd said no, she'd been a bit of a, no, you can't do that. You're stupid, you're mad, you're crazy. I don't know what would have happened, because I had to do this. I had to do this. I had to convince her I had to do this. I couldn't see it failing, but I knew the worst that would happen if it did was I had to go back and get a job. Is it really that bad? Is that the end of the world? Yeah, you might be a little bit beaten in the ego, but I'm pretty sure, because of what I'd done for the previous sort of 7 or 8 years, I suppose, in the Grantham area, if I had gone, there was a job at Connell's, which there always is, isn't there? Or a job at William H. Brown, which there always is. I'm pretty sure I'd have stood pretty well in the chance of getting an interview. So that for me, fearing the failing is not a bad thing. But also understanding what the failing might have to look like if it gets to that is also worth having in your mind at the start. So to me, I made sure I've got a structure of good people around me. I was blown away by the support of, obviously my brokerage is EXP UK, but I'm sure they're all very similar. The support of people who were already walking the pathway at EXP, had done what I was doing, 6 months before, 12 months before. That was great to lean on as well. And then when I got started, it was really about leaning on that contact network locally. So what I've built over the years really was a good understanding of people locally and a network locally. I'd done a lot through COVID and lockdown when I was furloughed, speaking to businesses about how furlough was affecting their business on a similar sort of video call to this sort of stuff. And once I said that I was going on my own, and I didn't actually reveal to the world that I was going self-employed until my last afternoon of being employed, which was the 17th of June 2021. And the immediate response was staggering. Completely blows you away. A bit like Jamie's. I keep seeing Jamie's posts with loads and loads of comments and likes and support. And your local community, they want to champion you. And all of a sudden, somebody says, "Oh, does anybody know a decent agent in the Sleaford area?" And Jamson's name will get tagged now loads of times. So I think it all revolves from, like I said, doing the right things at the right time, having a good rep. So your employed role, you need to almost address your employed role like it's your own business, because actually I don't think what you're doing then is promoting the brand per se. You're promoting yourself and your own ethics and your own approach on things. And when I transitioned out of employed to self-employed, I didn't change a lot. The video that we do, which kind of helped build a platform of people knowing who you are and what you do, didn't really transition a lot. The only thing that really changed was the colour. But that for me was important to sort of remain with that consistent element, so it wasn't all of a sudden sort of a big splash and change.
Nice.
Yeah, Jamie's doing amazing things. I mean, Jamie, I'm super proud of him. So I'm disappointed he's on a call right now, but I am super proud of him. It was his birthday last week as well, and I sent him a message just saying exactly that, and the admiration I've got for anybody who jumps in head first is incredible. For clarity, me and Jamie have been talking about this probably for about 4 years. So again, he's had to put his building blocks in place to make sure this was something he could do, and obviously turn it into a reality. But in 12 months' time, certainly in 24 months' time, he'll look back. And I told him he needs to look back and just sort of remember where he's at right now.
Exactly.
In 12 or 24 months' time, you'll really enjoy looking back on where you've come from. And I don't think we do that enough, probably as agents. I don't think we celebrate the good bits enough. We kind of beat ourselves up about the tough bits, don't we? But not celebrate the good bits.
Celebrating success is always when I can say it's always a hard thing for a lot of people to do, because if you are you seem a totally sort of honest guy who wouldn't go out
smashed it, mate. He smashed it.
Yeah, he wouldn't go out and actually do posts with Ferraris in the background, if you know what I mean. And the world is full of those types of people, which is great, and there's nothing wrong with that as Americanism, I guess, really celebrating success to a point. But a lot of it is just vanity and bravado. It's just, for me, I look at that and it has a negative effect for me, looking at it as a person who wants to follow people who do the right thing and make the right choices. So it's a very strange world we live in, where you can easily get it wrong on social media as well, and promoting yourself. So
I think
there'll be signs, lads, when I've made it. I'll be back to Heinz tomato sauce. Just watch out for them sort of things. There'll be subtle signs that I've gone back up to the premium tomato sauce brand.
When did you know you made it?
Exactly. Just watch out for them subtle signs.
Me and Jamie both come from a background as well where we first met, actually, where you weren't to talk to other agents, you weren't to do, you weren't to be on a social, but you just weren't allowed to. Aren't we stronger aren't we sort of stronger together? Better together,
I think
develop
so.
together. But
I see you help people within your own area, and I'm going to blow your trumpet now slightly, but I believe you're in the top. Are you the top 1% of EXP agents? Is that right? Is that right? Yeah. And I'm going to steal a bit of Brian Clough here. I may not be the best manager in the world, but I'm in the top 1%. Do you know what I mean? That's what Brian Clough said. So it's you've done that, mate. And I see you help people locally in your town, which are in the same brand as you, and probably help other agents as well that I probably don't know about. And you help people nationally as well. And it's that's, like you just said, together we're stronger, and together we pull the industry forwards, don't we? As in the quality, and Chris mentioned earlier, the standards we set. If you can help somebody, it makes them a better agent and person. We're all, if you make in your football team, my football team, if I make my worst player my best player, what a great problem I've got then, because we don't have a bad player then, do we? So, yes, that's the sort of thing you want to be pushing towards, isn't it?
I think as agents, we kind of almost, again, which is sort of hardwired to fear competition. And I'm not talking about sort of going down the road right now and sort of going to old employer and helping. But, independent agents who are kind of doing their thing their way, it's their dream, their vision. Why wouldn't you let them tap into you a little bit? Isn't that just a human thing to do? Isn't that just the right thing to do? I'd never see anybody struggling and just sort of. So my door's always open now. So obviously at EXP we have a structure where you can, other agents can come and be in my downline if you like, or you could sponsor them. And I don't have a particularly great number on that, but for me, a lot of the time that we've been spending the last 4.5 years has been about selling houses. But I do have a lot of agents who aren't in my downline, and we speak all the time because they feel like they can't get that same sort of support out of their own. And I'm talking now about another EXP agent now who's not getting the support they should do from their person above them. And I think it's a real shame. I think there has to be an accountability within any brokerage, actually. If you're going to bring people towards the framework, you should look after them as best you can.
Yeah, I think that end of the day, you're in the business, but you love the industry. and it's very hard for you to get out of the industry because it's in your head, it's in your blood, and you want it to be better because that's what you promote. So, if you are, and I get it quite a bit, if I see a stereotypical estate agent on a soap show or something on TV, and I'm like, oh, great. London, you think, oh, that's not what estate agents are like. Why have people got that in their head? It might just be the way it's been cast. I don't know.
Funny you should hit on that, Chris, because I sat down the other night to watch the first episode of this year's Apprentice, the 20th year.
Here we go.
Of course, there is an estate agent on there from London, the self-proclaimed, because I don't know what statistics he's using here to clone. I can't remember what his name is.
His mum told him.
He just said, I'm the best agent in London. I thought, what a sweeping statement that is. So, based on what? And of course, he's got that arrogance about him, hasn't he? And this is what annoys me about these sorts of shows: is you've got this arrogant statement, and his closing comment in his little intro is, "Oh, and I'm quite sexy as well." I'm like, you, okay, not, but not to me anyway. But you sort of look at it and go, that's not what agents are. But that's what the public see, and I think that's what the public probably feel. I would say
he's probably been cast for a reason to get out the reaction from a lot of people in the industry. But at the same point, it's just so frustrating that we just can't have some normal. We're just normal people. We're not sharks. We're not. We're trying to help you get from here to there, or solve an issue in your life. And frustrating.
Yeah, but you watch on the news, don't you? When we have a budget, they go into a town and find somebody, and you think, why have you found that person to put that comment on here?
The most estate agent you can find.
Or even a member of the public coming out with a Greg's sausage roll hanging out of the mouth, and they're asking them what they think to an interest rate cut and inflation and the biggest export that we've had in 4 years. And they're like, Yeah.
You know
what I mean? That's to be honest, mediocrity doesn't sell, does it? It's either boom or bust. You need them sorts of people, like Tony just said. That guy is representing us. Believe it or not, he is in the national view of everybody on the apprenticeship, and he is actually representing us, which is, like Tony says, a shame if he acts like that, because that's not like me. I mean, would you have ever imagined this face ever called himself sexy to anyone? Ever?
Well, no. Mate, we had to have the conversation, didn't we, when we decided we were doing video? If
actually face for radio.
Yeah,
I think you did. I think you did that time in Tallinn, didn't you? You told me when you were crawling across the floor.
I couldn't speak.
Look how sexy I am.
I couldn't speak.
On that note, before we get into some serious deep water, Tony, thanks so much for coming on. We'll have to have another one to talk about Lincoln City, because obviously that's the team you support.
We definitely need a part two. So I think
there's going to be a part two, 100%, if that's okay with you. Let's have a quick look at the fixtures for this weekend, Jay, if we could do. Yep. Let's go on. Let's have a look here. Okay, so we've got a few matches.
Start with we've got a bit of Friday night football, and
and that's a good match.
It is for you guys as well, because if that's got a draw written all over it, you boys will be very, very happy with that. But that's a big game for both of them. They can't afford to lose it. Maybe Forest have got the edge on Leeds slightly, but to go to Ellen Road on a Friday night at 8:00 is not an easy place to go. So that'll be an interesting game. I am going to have to go for a Desmond, though. I know you take the mick, but I'm going to go for a draw.
I'm going for 1-1, mate. What a surprise. 1-1.
I'm going for 2-2. What about you, Tony? What do you reckon to that? I know it's not your vibe, but what do you think to that?
Forest last 6 away. They've won 3, lost 3. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Forest win.
Oof. I'd like to see the league.
Could easily do.
Yeah. And then we move on to Saturday, which I am going to Fulham. Is that the first one? Oh no, sorry, Saturday, 12:30. Yeah, so you've got Spurs versus Man U. I've got a funny feeling, Chris, that you're going to stop that running record.
Yeah, we are. If we played anywhere near like we did in the second half of our last match, then
you just got to stop going a goal behind before you start playing.
Well, where's the fun in that? Come on.
Exactly. Where's the comeback? I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw.
I'm going to go for 2-1 to us.
Oh, I love that. Optimism's back. I love that.
Yeah.
Go on, Truby.
Well, I love the stats. Spurs have won 3 out of the last 10 away, but only 1 of the last 6 away. And United, to me, look like they've found some rejuvenation. I think the problem is with United, they're doing the same thing here as what happened with Solskjaer, aren't they? And Carrick's going to end up in the job, weirdly. I don't think he's the right man for the job, but I'm going to go for United 2-0 win.
2-0.
And then we move on to the 3:00 games. I'll try and go in the order of Chris's. It's slightly different on my phone, but Fulham Everton, the big game for us, both on the same amount of points. 3 points is crucial to both of us. I'm going to that poshest football ground you ever go to, Berry Prawn Sandwich Brigade. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Everton win. Let's go for it.
That's what I think, mate.
Everton win.
I think so.
Yeah.
2-1.
I'm going to go 2-1 as well. Is that possible, or do I need to go 3-1?
Yeah, of course it is. No, 2-1, all in fair wars. And then we go down the list. We'll go across the list for the next one, but we've got Burnley, West Ham, which is a thriller in Manila for them. But
Come on,
Burnley at home, if that was the way around, I don't know, but I'll still go West Ham 2-1.
Desmond, 2-2.
2-2. Don't disagree with that, to be fair, but I can't say it all the time as you get
1 each.
1 each, yeah.
1 each.
Okay. And then Arsenal, Sunderland.
Winning at Burnley is not for everybody.
Mate, I'm going to celebrate. Before we drew 0-0 from one of the worst games I've been to, it was hard work. Who scored that time? Was it Raggett or whatever his name was?
Sean Raggett, yeah.
Sean Raggett.
89 minutes. Q.
For them that don't know, it's when Lincoln were in the conference.
FA Cup 5th round.
And they made it right through to the FA Cup
quarterfinals
against Arsenal, won it at the Emirates.
Yeah, but we beat Burnley on the way away.
And Ipswich when they were in the Championship.
Ipswich, Brighton when they were top of the Championship.
Right. Yeah, I remember it well. And then we go to Arsenal. I can't see Arsenal not beating Sunderland at home as much as Sunderland won 3-0 the other night. I'm going to go for a 3-1 Arsenal win.
2-1 for me, Arsenal. I think it'll be a little bit squeaky, but they'll get through.
Sunderland, 1 win and 8 away from home. Arsenal in good form, 4-0.
4-0.
Nice.
Come on more often. And then Wolves, Chelsea at 3:00. I can't not see Chelsea winning that. As much as they're raving about this new manager. Wolves 1, Chelsea 3.
2-0 Chelsea's for me.
I'll just go 1-0 Chelsea.
Nice.
And then we've got Bournemouth, Villa.
That's an interesting match, that. So obviously Bournemouth still needed points because they need to pull themselves a little bit further away. Villa obviously needed points as well. Not had a good couple of matches if you look back a little bit further. But they've obviously signed Tammy Abrahams as well. I guess he'll be available as well.
He played the other day, to be fair.
Yeah. Did he? So okay, fine. He'll definitely be available then. I think they will get something out of it. They need a win, but I just think that's going to be a 1-1 draw or something.
I'm going Desmond 2-2.
I'll go Villa 3-1. Villa are the current form side away from home at the minute.
Oof.
5 wins out of 8.
Oof.
Nice.
Show you that. And then the 5:30 on Saturday is Newcastle versus Brentford.
Oof.
Newcastle at home. I know Brentford are doing well, but I'm going to go 2-1 Newcastle.
I'm going to go 2-1 Brentford.
Oh, shots.
I'll split the difference, 1-1.
Yeah, not against that, too fair. And then we move on to Super Sunday.
Oh,
big match. Big match this season.
Is it the M23 derby? Is that what you call it?
Yeah, they hate each other.
Hates them.
Yeah, he hates them as well, to be fair. Something to do with the manager years ago, something to do with the manager, a touchline or something. But so I had to ask why they hate each other.
70 miles away from each other or something.
Yeah, because I had to ask why they hate each other because I didn't really know the answer to it. But it's something to do with the manager left and something happened on the touchline.
Right.
But Brighton at home to Crystal Palace.
I'm going to put it out there. Brighton are going to win.
Oh, what score?
It's going to be 2-1.
2-1. I'm going to go.
No. 3-1. 3-1 to Brighton. There we go. I'm going to put it out there.
I'm going to go for a cagey affair at 1-1.
Could be.
Brighton 2, Palace 0.
Out there. And then
Oh,
the Super Sunday tea time
Big
kickoff
big
is
match.
Liverpool versus Man City.
Both teams need to get results, don't they, for obvious reasons. I can see it being a good open game. Liverpool are on form, judging by their second half in particular. Man City, they need to get some reaction back from their second half performance against us. I can see that being a bit topsy-turvy. I think Man City will go ahead, but I think Liverpool will win 2-1.
Okay.
What about you
I'm going
guys?
to go 2-2. I am.
It's like a default setting for you.
It is. Steve Reed's default setting is 1-0 Wolves, and mine's 2-2. Some tight games out there.
Yeah, there's plenty of goals in this game, I think. I'm going to go 3-2 Liverpool.
What a cracker that will be.
Oh, see, that's a thriller, Manila.
Lovely.
So, yeah. And that's it
Superb.
for games. No Monday night football. So, there we go. Friday night instead of Monday night.
Never
Why is that?
mind.
Is it Champions League next week or something?
No, I don't know why. It must be but they've got the semi-final second legs of the
League Cup.
Cup.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. This is yeah. Makes sense.
About.
Who cares about that? Obviously, I would if if team was in it. Well, look, thanks again, Tim, for joining us today. Been fantastic.
Thank you.
Cheers, Jay. Been great. That is full time in today's podcast. Thanks for listening to Property Premier League. I've been your host, Chris Mervyn, ably assisted by Jamie Aspland, and today is Tony Ruby. Thanks, Tony, for being a guest. We'll be back next week with more insights and debates from the world of property and the beautiful game. They think it's all over. Well, you know the rest.